Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And we're going to continue our series in drawing dragons. We did a video on drawing the head of a dragon last time around, so we're going to draw the body today. And the body of our dragon, and we're going to do a Western style dragon, is going to begin with a very kind of bulky sort of look. And obviously if we were doing a more of an Eastern style, it would be more sinuous, more snake-like. But I'm trying to think of certainly not the neck part, but the body as being a bit more like a horse. So you've got a shoulder blade, a dip in the back, and then the butt over here. We're then going to draw in where the legs are. So we're going to draw one here and a larger one here. And I find that drawing circles for where the joints are is a very helpful way of just ensuring that everything kind of lines up the way you want it to. So this is going to come down to where the rib cage is, comes up, and then back in again. So when it comes to drawing dragons, when I was a kid, I had a lot of Dungeons and Dragons books, and they always portrayed the dragon as being a bit more humanoid in terms of the arms. And I never really liked how that looked. I wasn't a big fan of the humanoid or human arms on dragons. This is a bit more animalistic. We're not worried so much about ankles and calf muscles. I am going to avoid, however, drawing any kind of back claws. I find that the back claw makes it look a little too eagle-like for my taste. And then for the back leg, much thicker thigh. We got a bit of a fold there where it attaches, and we're going to have this come forward and then back. And we're just going to line up, because if the dragon is standing on the same plane, so that both feet are at the same level, then we're going to make sure that we end the legs in the right spot. And so there we have the basic shape of what we're going for our dragon. Then we have the tail kind of come back like this, and the head would be here. I'm also not a fan of very long necks on the dragons I draw. I mean, certainly you could have it, you know, coming up maybe and being a bit more streamlined, and that, I mean, that wouldn't look bad for sure, but mine's going to be a little lower to the ground over here. And then we'll see how some lighting and shading and shadows turn out on the dragon body here. So as you can see, I made the head a little bit smaller. I figured it's a bit more proportional that way. And I'm starting to put in some scales. And this is that part of the drawing where you need to kind of look at your own cost to benefit ratio and to see to yourself whether or not it's worth putting a lot of work into the drawing. It could be argued that because the dragon is small and therefore farther away in this picture, you wouldn't be able to see a lot. So I'm pressing nice and lightly so you don't see a whole lot of the scales. But I think it is worth putting time and effort into a drawing like this. And you might say to yourself, if you're just trying this out and practicing, maybe I'll do that some other time. But I think it's worth doing it. It's a good, if nothing else, a venture in patience. But certainly you can kind of make your own decisions on that. Where the shoulder joint comes in, I'm starting to change direction of the scales as well, because as the dragon moves around, you're going to have the scales start to change direction. They're going to follow the shape of the arm, and that's going to make this really nice, slow, but easily identifiable transition from one part of the body to the next. So I'll keep at it and we'll see how this turns out. And although it's a bit of work, it is, I think, worth it in the end to put all of those scales and all of that work into it. So we're going to add some shading and shadows, as we always tend to do. And then I think we're good to go at that point. I really love the shape of how it turned out. I'm really happy with that. And last but certainly not least, I'm just taking a 2B pencil, and in between the scales where there's overlap, I'm just putting a little hint of darkness there. I'm then going to take my blending stomp, and I'm just going to reduce the harshness of that dark area by blending it a little bit. And the end result looks something like what you've got here in this back leg when I'm all said and done and finished. So that's pretty much it. The dragon's body anyways, is complete. And although it certainly is a little bit of work, the end result is just so worthwhile, so magnificent and majestic. So I say, give it a try, see how it turns out. You might be quite pleasantly surprised with how it ends up looking. So have yourself a fantastic day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.